John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hey there, this is John Ulzheimer, and I am coming to you today from lovely Atlanta traffic. Today I'm going to answer a question about free credit scores. And the question is specifically, this is kind of a holdover from several years ago where people used to always say that free credit scores aren't real and they're not helpful in any way. So the question is specifically, what is the current status of free credit scores? Are they actually real? Are these the scores that are important when you're, in a lending context? Let's define what is a credit score first, because that's really an important distinction. Credit score is a numeric representation of the information on your credit report, and it's designed to predict the likelihood of you missing a payment on an obligation in the 24 months after the score is calculated. That's called a performance definition, and that's what FICO's credit scores are built to do. There's a law in the United States called the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, and the ECOA makes it very clear that in order for you as a lender to be able to use a credit score in the United States lending system, it has to meet two criteria. Number one, it has to be empirically derived, which means it has to be built using generally accepted scientific methods. Number two is it has to be empirically and demonstrably sound. What that means is that you have to be able to demonstrate that the model works, okay? So you can't just go and build a credit score at lunch and say, you know what, I think this should be worth this number of points, and I think that should be worth another however many points. That's not empirically, it's not empirically derived. The scoring systems built by FICO are empirically derived and statistically and demonstrably sound, meaning that they are built using sound scientific methods, and they have been demonstrated to work repeatedly for the better part of the last 3+ decades. Any score that is used in the US lending system is a quote unquote real score, meaning that it is not a fake score because it has to pass that empirically derived and statistically sound test for it to even be used legally in the United States. So if you're online and you're claiming a free credit report and you're getting a free credit score, or if you're on some lender's app and you can see your credit score as part of your relationship with them, or if you're on one of these like credit card websites like Credit Karma or Credit Sesame and they're giving away a free credit score, as long as that credit score is the same brand of credit score that's used in the US financial market, it is not a fake score. It is absolutely a real score. Today, the only two types of scores that are given away are FICO's credit scores and VantageScore's credit scores. Both of those credit scores are used in the US financial services market, which means that they're both real scores, which means that they are not fake scores. So let's just make one thing very, very clear. There are hundreds of credit scores. You do not have a credit score, okay? That's a massive, massive myth. So when you go and you say, oh, my credit score is 750, that's fine. That's one of your credit scores, but it certainly isn't representative of all of your credit scores. And so that's what causes massive consumer confusion, because they may get one credit score from this website and then their lender may use a completely different credit score, or they may get another a score from their American Express app, which may be different than what they're getting off of the FICO website. So there's so many different scores that the likelihood of you getting the same exact 3-digit number that some lender in the future is going to see is little to none. And you shouldn't be upset about that, because, it's almost like the temperature, right? Just because it's 38 degrees today doesn't mean it's gonna be 38 degrees in an hour. That those things change, and there's different measurements of temperature, and they're not all the same, and we just have to accept that. But consumers get very confused about it, and sometimes they get angry. They think they've been duped. But if they take 5 seconds to do some research, they'll realize, oh, wait a minute, there's like hundreds of credit scores, and the numbers aren't gonna be the same because they're not the same model. And different credit scoring model is gonna spit out a different numeric number. But here's the deal. You only have 3 credit reports. While you have hundreds of credit scores, you only have 3 credit reports. And every single one of those credit scores is derived from those 3 credit reports. So I always tell people, look, instead of trying to chase down hundreds of credit scores, which is gonna be a futile effort and it's gonna just frustrate you, chase down your 3 credit reports. That's a whole lot easier. It's a whole lot easier to manage 3 credit reports. And if the information on those 3 credit reports indicates that you're a good credit risk, then you really have nothing to worry about, because every single one of those scores is going to say the same thing about you, which is that you're a fantastic credit risk. So take that approach, that angle, manage to the credit report rather than to the credit score, and you'll be in shape. So if you have any other questions about that, drop them in the comment section below. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk again soon.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.